Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modelling tutorial. Today in this episode I thought we would mix it up a little bit. We've been working on the car for quite some time, and I think we're about 20 videos deep now. The plan was to work around the rear of the car, get some vents and things in place, but I thought what we'd do is maybe take a break and we'll add some wheels to the project just to kind of mix it up. I don't know about you guys, but I was starting to kind of waver on the project a little bit. Because I think I've recorded all those 20 parts in just a couple of days, so it's been quite a go for me. So I thought I would mix it up just to maintain my sanity. I am recording this super early in the morning, so hopefully it's going to go okay. Apologies if I'm sounding a little bit rough. Just thought I'd try and get some videos done before I start work. I've started a new file for this, and this is the rim that was inside the blueprints for the main project that we've been working on. So everybody should have this image in their main file. Now I am doing this in a separate file, and the reason for that is because I want to use the grid in order to make sure that I'm going to be looking good inside here, because we are going to be making a portion of this rim and then rotating it around as we need it. So I put it in a separate file. I've also got a separate image plane. You don't have to have a separate image plane. I've just brought it in on a separate image plane. I just didn't want any other geometry or anything else in the way as we make this. So let's jump in real quick. We need to do a little bit of maths with this. Well, not really a little bit of maths as such, but what we kind of need to do is we need to understand that things are going to feed into things in a certain way. So firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a cylinder in here and bring it in. And we're going to be wanting to make a portion of this, so we need to work out what portion that we're going to be inside here. So we know, it doesn't look like my wireframe, my blueprint there's quite there, that's okay. So what we're going to want to do here is we want to do a little bit of maths. We've just brought in an object here which has 20 sides by default. We know we have 5 spokes, so it means that we're going to want to use an area of around 4 to complete this. And what we'll do is we'll have a go at just building this top portion here. Now, one thing to note before we start is that we're actually using here the blueprints that I got were for the 2019 Audi R8 Spyder, but the wheels here are the actual wheels from the 2018 model, which I found out. Now, I did find a couple of images to use for the 2019, but I thought, you know what, I'll just go with these. We can make them quite cool, maybe have a diamond cut face and then a black background or something, which might look quite nice. So just in case you guys are looking at this and wondering and thinking, well, they're not the 2019 wheels, they are the 2018, but I think we'll be good with these. So I'm just going to select some faces here, and I just want to have those 4 top faces seen. And we'll hit delete. So this is only really what we're going to be working with here. So let me just get rid of, we don't need any of these back faces here. We actually don't need any of these faces, I don't think. We'll be fine with just these frontal ones. And then we don't need any of those either. So this is the kind of portion of the wheel that we're going to build. And we're going to realistically make this wheel out of about 3 pieces. And then we're just going to stitch all those pieces together and hopefully come with something. Now, normally what I do on my videos, well, not on my videos, sorry, but on my personal projects is when I'm working on things myself. Normally what I do is I probably take about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 hours modeling the wheels just to make sure they're on point, but I'm going to try and take that down and do, you know, at most 2 videos here. So I'm going to try my best to get this done pretty quick. I've got some reference images here as well, super high res ones, so we can get in nice and close. Let me just get this out of the way here. So let's copy this down. So I just searched for Audi R8 2018 alloy wheels, and this is what, and I just took some images from those. Okay, so we're going to have a think about what we're going to want to build then. So I'm going to bring in another cylinder, and let's rotate this around, and I'm going to rotate this on 90 degrees. I'm going to bring the pivot, so I'm going to hold D and V on my keyboard, so D and V. I'm going to grab that pivot and I'm going to snap it right into the middle here. And holding X, I'm going to make sure that this snaps into the center of one of the grid points. So this is the grid point I'm going to work on just in front of this. in my side view here, I am going to keep this shape in the background because it's just going to make sure that I'm keeping in the areas that I need to here. So I'm going to keep this going around here. This shape that we've just created here is we're going to scale this down because this here is going to be part of the center cap in the middle here. Okay, and we can see that our face is sitting nicely on that point there. What I'm going to do just now is let's get rid, actually before we do, let's maybe grab these front faces. I'm going to hit Ctrl E and let's just add a little bit of curvature to this here. Hit Ctrl E again, just pull that out a little bit more, just so it's not completely flat. And then if you're not happy with those, you can go back with your edges and just shuffle them about a little bit should you wish to. Something like that should be okay. And then what we'll do is we'll get rid of the rest of those faces. The reason I did that first is because if I got rid of those faces, it would have ended up with double faces inside here, so I'll just do that first. We are going to need another one because we are going to want to make sure that we've got the space for the lugs inside here as well, the actual wheel nuts. And the easiest way I find to do that is by adding in another cylinder, because we're working with circles here, we don't want to really try and build these circles ourselves. We want to just use as many tools as we can to help us out. And we are going to want to do, actually before we scale this down, we do want to think about where this mesh is going to go. So we want this to go inside here, but it needs to tie in with the mesh for our center cap that we've just created. So we're going to need to reduce the amount of sides here down. And I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll go with 6, because 6 will give us one that goes up here, one that's vertical, and one across the top. So it should give us decent. And then obviously it should give us enough to actually smooth this off and it appear to be a circle. So let's bring this up here. We'll scale that down. Something like that, so we can see that this is going to nicely meet here, and then we can go up and around the edge there, and it should work out quite nice. So that's looking okay inside there. Okay, and then what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to pull this forward. Now I'm just looking on reference images, and what I see people do when they're modeling wheels is they're not really fully understanding that this is not going to be completely flat. We're going to have sections that protrude forward, bits that go back. So we're going to want to think about that at this point. So I have a version of the wheel without any lugs inside, reference image, so we can kind of see the offset, and it looks like it's probably going to be something like that. So the lugs are actually offset from this main area here. So I'll just keep the rest of that shape there for now. And then what we're going to also want is we're going to want another circle that's going to run around this whole bit, but we don't really want to do that just yet, I don't think, because we are going to want to make sure that we're matching up with our sizes here. We could maybe throw one in actually, so let's go for create, we'll go for polygon primitives, and I'm going to go for a pipe. We'll maybe just do it real quick. Because we have some idea of how it should look, so let's rotate this around to 90. Our radius here, let's firstly take the thickness down to something like 0.2. Oh, that's a height. Thickness here to maybe 0.02. Nice and thin. Let's take the radius up to maybe 1.3, 0.2, 1.25 seems to look okay. Okay, and then what we're going to want to do with this is with our subdivisions, we're going to want these to kind of link up nicely inside here. So let's go 80. 80 is not bad. Let's maybe try 100. Okay, I think 100 should work for us inside there, but again, we'll need to think about that a little bit as we go. And then judging by my references here, it looks like it's probably just a little bit in front of the original point. But we'll kind of worry about that a lot more a little bit later. Like I said, we may need to rebuild it once we've got our mesh in place. Okay, so let's have a think about then building up here. So I'm going to grab, I'm just trying to have a think here. It looks like what we're going to be building is going to be pretty much the same on either side. So we've got two options. We could just build one side here and then mirror that across, and then we can join it all together, and then we can duplicate the special all the way around. So we'll probably do that. So that means that realistically I'm just going to be working off these 2 points here. So I'm going to hit Control E, but first I'm going to do it on all of these edges here just to make sure it's nice and uniform. So I'm going to grab all these edges, hit Control E, I'm going to pull out on the green here, and it looks like for the most part this bit's somewhat flat. So I'm going to pull out on the edge, I'm going to hit Control E and do it one more time, and we're going to go close to the lug there, but we're not going to go all the way. And then let's maybe grab the vertices here. I'm wondering if I could, I don't think it'll let me do edge because it's so close here. So I'm going to pull this up here, and again the reason that I've left this in is so that we can kind of track where the edges should sit. So we'll pull that up there, and then we'll maybe pull this up here. Something like that. So start to kind of formulate that base shape. And it looks like what it is it looks like it's virtually flat, not completely flat, but it looks like it's virtually flat until we get up past. But let's maybe just come out a little bit on there. Something like that. Okay. Let's go for Control E, and I'm just going to pull on this side this time, and I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to pull up on the green here, and let's go and drop one up here. Or maybe take one and put one just there. So we want this one to kind of align up with what we have here. We want this one to kind of sit to allow us to go up there. And then what we could do is we kind of can probably just make a little triangle here. Let's go hit Control E, I'm just going to pull this out, and we'll get this one here to sit down here, and then this one here we can merge back over there. Okay, just going to check this in perspective just to make sure we're looking okay, and I'm maybe going to grab these and just pull them out a little bit. Okay. Again, I'm looking at these, and again it's still looking virtually flat until about this point. So let's maybe grab this edge here. I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to take this all the way up here. Yeah, we'll go all the way up here. And then what this will allow us to do is pull this out. It doesn't look massively severe. Only slightly, so maybe something like that. We could edit that later should we wish to. It looks like we're going to want to come out something like that. Okay. And then that's looking okay just there. I'm going to hit Control E, and then we're going to go all the way up here to the top. So we're going to go all the way up there. And then what that will allow us to do is that will allow us to bring that back in a little bit, just something like that. Okay, let's go back here. We do have like this little extra edge up here, and that's obviously going to be running the same kind of pattern as these. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold X, and I'm just going to snap to the nearest grid point with that. And the reason I'm going to do that is because we want the next point to be roughly in the same spot. So we'll do that just now. Let's go and drop an edge loop in here. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's go and put it back to where it was. Something like that. And then we'll attempt to snap to the vertices. So let's go again, insert edge loop. I'm going to drop one inside here. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to hit Control E. And again, we're going to go all the way up to where this kind of finishes and merges with the main portion of the alloy wheel at the top. I'm going to go up there. Okay. Let me hide everything else. I'm going to grab each of these, and I'm just going to hold V, and I'm going to pull on that red, just so it snaps into the same kind of area as we have up there. Now what this is going to be, is this is going to allow us to build this portion here to the same as what we have going on up here. So let's grab, let's maybe insert some edge loops, and I'll just drop one just over here, which should allow us to adjust this, maybe to something like that. And I'm going to drop an edge loop again, and I'm going to put this right here to make up that portion for us. Okay. And we can see that that's going to be sitting where that should be. So just for now, what we could do is we could maybe just get rid of that. So that's kind of making up that basic shape for us. Okay. So what we also want to do now is we're going to want to grab some edges. So let's grab all of these here. I'm going to grab all of them on all sides. We'll grab these ones too. We're going to hit Control E on these, and I'm going to pull those in, something like that. We're only going to go a little bit because we have like a double step inside here, because this bit here doesn't go all the way down. So let's go back here, and we'll go into our view over here. So I'm going to go for vertex. I'm going to grab these lower two real quick, and I'm just going to pull those up. Let me just make sure my edge isn't selected there. Only ever so slightly. I'm going to pull those up. I'm going to grab these and ever so slightly pull those in. Okay. So what we're doing is we're just giving a little bit of shape to this. So let's just grab all of these remaining ones here and pull those out just a spot. And then we also want to make sure that we're going up with these as well. And then we're going to want to do the same on the underside. So let's grab all of these ones and go down. Just about the same. Maybe move out a little bit more as we get further down here, because there is quite a significant distance here. So let's pull those there, and again I'm just trying to stay as close to that line as possible, so we'll do something like that. So starting to get that kind of 3 dimensions to this. Let's go for up here too. Pull those out. Pull those out, and then the lower ones here we'll pull down. So just something like that. Okay. I'm going to maybe just get rid of the edge there. Okay, so we're looking something like this. And then what we're going to want to do is do the exact same again. So we're going to grab all of these. Okay, so all those same edges. I'll grab these ones up top. I'm going to hit Control E. And exactly the same, we're going to pull, but this time we're going to pull them quite a bit, because this is going to be the actual thickness of the wheel. So maybe something like that. Just trying to look at my references here. Maybe something like that should look good. Okay, so firstly, before we start moving them anywhere else, what we want to do is we do want to understand that there is a nice curve to these wheels from this view. So maybe what we'll do is these central ones here, we'll do something more like that. So they're curving down there rather than having an angle in, which should be fine. Okay, and what we'll do is exactly the same again. So let's grab each of these, and this time we're going to go all the way to that inner line up there. Okay, it's not looking too bad. Let's grab these ones. Okay, it's looking okay too. Let's get these ones nice and close to that lug now. Something like that. That's looking good. And then let's go up here. Exact same again. And then again for this inside section here, just want to make sure we're following that line. Something like that. Okay, so we can start to see now that we're getting, this is looking quite nice. So let's go then and think about two new areas. Firstly, we're going to want to think about this portion inside here. So maybe what we could try is we could grab this face and this face, and let's go for edit mesh and then bridge. Okay, so we've got that extra little step that's inside there. What we do want to do is, it looks like maybe I missed this inside here. What we do want to do is bring this one up here. Okay. And then it's just really going to be a case of fine tuning this so it's looking nice. And I'll do a lot of fine tuning probably in between episodes. Okay, so we'll go something like that. Okay, now we also have inside here is we have a portion where it surrounds at the top here. So let's go insert edge loop, and I'm going to drop a loop about here, something like that. And I think the best option would be is just to go for face. We'll grab this lower inside face, and this is just what we're going to bring up here. I'm going to hit delete. I'm also going to hit delete on that rear face because I don't want that. And then let's just have a go at bringing this into position here around this lug. Okay, so it looks straight in this, but in the references it does look a little bit curved. So maybe do something like that. Let's have a go at grabbing all of the faces here that we don't need. So let's just see how we're sitting inside here. Okay, so we currently don't need any of those faces there. We currently don't need any of these faces here. Okay, so we're just working on this little portion here. Okay, what we could do, just to see, we could attempt to swap this over. So I'm going to go Control D, Control G, And then on the scale for the Z, let's go -1. Okay, so we're starting to see kind of how that is going to run around inside there. I'm thinking what we may want to do is maybe on the back here, pull that up a little bit. Okay. And then let's just kind of make sure this lug is going to say, okay, so it looks like that is about how deep the wheel nuts are inside there. So let's maybe grab each of these inner vertices here, and I'm going to hold V, and we'll snap up here and here, because again we just want to make sure that this is going to be a nice smooth area. Snap that into the middle. So all of those there are going to follow around on that area, so that's looking perfect circle as we go. If I was to hit 3 on here, we can see that that's going to start curving around. It's not going to look great down here because it's not merged yet. That's going to be okay. So we're looking quite nice on this inside here. I'm just trying to have a look at the references, and I don't think there's anything else we really need to worry about too much. So let's quickly have a think about this top section then. It looks like we're going to scale this down a little bit here. Just like that. Should be okay. Okay, so it looks like for this is we have a nice straight connection between these portions. Something like that. So what we could maybe think about just now is we can think about how everything here is going to kind of connect. So we can see that this face here is going to connect nicely with this main face here. So let's just select the faces of each of these. So this face will connect nicely here. And then with a little bit of work, this face here could connect here too. We also have these extra steps inside. So let's maybe have a go at selecting all these faces here. Let's hit Control E. And I'm going to pull these down on the blue just to meet this second bit here. And then what that will allow me to do is to pull that in so it matches that initial line that we have on both of those. And then I'm going to hit Control E again. I'm going to go down on the blue all the way to that inner portion. I'm going to go a little bit further than what it says in here, and then actually no, let's not, because it does have an extra step, so let's go maybe about here, and then on the red we can pull that back to that same level of thickness there, so that's going to match up nicely over there. And then let's go one more time, we'll hit Control E, I'm just going to pull down on the blue because it does have like a straighter portion inside there, something like that. Okay, I'm not going to need any of this, so I'll grab all those and hit delete. The rest there is looking okay. And then what we want to do here is we just want to get this now to sit nicely with our new shape. So I'm going to go for my vertex, I'm going to hold down V, I'm going to snap up here, I'm going to hold down V, select it too, I'm going to move up there. These ones we're going to want to come down here, and then the same for this one. If I can grab this one, we'll come over here, and then this one will come over here. Now the problem with that is we can see that they're offsetting that, and it's not going to look too good. So maybe what we'll do first is we'll grab the vertices here. I'm going to not do that, we're going to do this. We're going to add our transform into our edge slide. And we're going to slide this down and this one down here. And so that matches where they should be, and then we'll slide this one up and this one over as well. Something like that. Okay, and that should allow us now to bring these back. Probably would have made sense to do that first. So it's probably a little bit too far. I want it to be more like that, and then this one to be more like that. It's maybe a bit too far too, so let's go back there. And again, it's probably something a bit more like that. Okay. So again, with our edge constraints on, let's just move these to match. Like so. Okay, and then the same over here. Just there. So then that will allow those to stick together in that area just nicely. Up here, we're going to want to do something similar, but first we're probably going to need to grab these edges and we're just going to need to step them. So I'm going to do one more extrusion. I'm going to hit Control E. Let's pull those up. Okay, let's go and firstly let's just hold down V and we'll snap up here. Just take my transform back off. Here and here. Okay, so let's go and adjust some of these first. So let's turn our edge slide on. We'll move up here. Do the same down here. Okay. This one will probably move up here, and then this one as well. Something like that. Let's go then and bring these down. I'm going to keep edge slide on because we do want to move these ones down first. Just like that, because we did do that extra extrusion. So bring those down. Okay, and then it should allow us, holding V, bring these into the correct location. It's a little bit awkward just because of their positioning. Do something like that. Okay, so that's going to merge that nicely around there for us. And then we've just got the rest of the kind of rim to think about here. So maybe go in. Let's go Control E. And let's go take this down. Go Control E again. Bring this in. Maybe what I'll do for now is let's just go hold X and take that right into the center. And let's do the same over here. Let's hold X and we'll take that into the center as well. Okay, and we can add more edge loops in there to add a bit of detail to that too. So we're looking quite good on this. So I think what we'll do is we'll just call it here for this episode. Hopefully in the next episode we'll get this finished and finalized. We can get it into our main file maybe as well with our main car, unless you guys have already done that, which is cool. So please hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode, hit the thumbs down if you didn't, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.